sing Do minor for about half of that movement. He could have done this instead. Version of two truths, right? God is eternal and God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. So how do you, using a musical form that involves time, talk about eternity? Well, you go on for a while and hope that people get the point. How do you talk about omnipresence? Well, music is in a key, one key at a time. And you can go, usually, in what we think of as classical music, you go from key A to key B, and you work around in key B for a while, then you go back to key A. And then you take the theme from key A and the theme from key B, and you do them both in key A, so they're together. And that's a polarity. It's a thesis, antithesis, synthesis process. But Vivaldi decides that's not good enough for a God who's everywhere. And he goes from one key to another, to another, to another, which is why you begin to wonder, will this piece get back to where it started? Magnificat where Mary is talking about God's incredible mercy over the generations. You know, the Magnificat is actually an assemblage, a re-inspiration of texts from the Old Testament. And if you think that makes her a less original poet, I disagree with you. I remember when I felt called to take an Old Testament course at Regent College, and part of the deal you make in that course is that you will read the Old Testament every word in the 3 months that you're in the course, which seemed easy until I started to do it. But the time that I took resulted unexpectedly for me in the 3 months during which I heard from God more than ever in my life. Because I was familiar with the words of God. And I even said to a non-Christian friend of mine, you know, I've come to not know the difference between God speaking to me and God reminding me of what is written in the Bible. And he said to me, well, duh. So I don't always learn my Christian lessons from Christian friends. So Mary's talking about God's mercy. Of course, God is holy, and we, or at least I, am not. And so if God stays where God is, and we stay where we belong, there is no congress there. So God has to reach out for there to be mercy. So after that figure, we get iad a progenie in progenie. It's from generation to generation after the reaching. Since April has come into our lives, it's become really clear to me that my time here is limited. And the time will come when I make space for her, and so on. And then she says that God shows particular mercy to those who fear her, who recognize that God is God and we are not. Latin word for fear. And then what music can do that not all art forms can is in time show us the passing of the generations and God's mercy reaching over them. Now, not only is God showing mercy, but there's a reason that that matters. And the reason is that God is just. God knows what's right, even when we don't. And God is strong. God isn't just an observer, an anemic observer saying, oh, that wasn't very good. There will come a time when God, the creator of the world, exercises the prerogative of God to put things right.
Fecit potentiam,
which means he will show strength.
Fecit potentiam, fecit potentiam in gratia suo, dispersit sublemos, et decoris sui.
God is casting down the rulers, those who are mighty in their own hearts, who are proud in their own hearts, and he saves the last kick in the pants, so to speak, right for the end. Mente cordi sui, according to their own impression of themselves, they're the big shots. And then she talks about the reversal in God's kingdom, that those who are mighty will lose their place, and those who are humble will be exalted.